Have you ever wondered why we write night with a K and a G but say it like night? Or why the B in doubt is silent? Or why psychology starts with a P that no one even pronounces? Well, if English feels confusing, it's because it is. But trust me, there's a fascinating reason behind these silent letters. Let's go back over 1,000 years to Old English. Back then, people actually pronounced every single letter. Yes, in Old English, the K in knife was spoken. It sounded like knife. The G in gnaw was also there. People said gnaw. Even night was k-nished, and it had a hard ch sound at the end. So what changed? Well, like everything in English history, it all begins with invasion. In 1066, the Norman French invaded England. They brought their own language, full of different sounds and spellings. As the Normans took control, the English language began to mix with French. That's where things started getting messy. Words like det came from the French word dete. But English scholars thought, wait, this word originally came from Latin. Debitum, so let's add the B. Back in to look more Latin. Yes, really. Silent letters were added back in, just to make the word look smarter. And then came the printing press in the 1400s. Suddenly, spelling became more fixed, but pronunciation kept changing. For example, people stopped pronouncing the K in knee, but the spelling stayed the same. We once said kuni, but now we just say knee. So over centuries, we changed the way we speak, but not the way we spell. Result? Silent letters everywhere. Let's take a look at some of the most confusing ones. K in knife, knock, knee, once pronounced, now silent. G in gnaw, gnome, gnash, the same story. W in wrong, wrist, sword. Yes, people once said the W. B in doubt, subtle, det. These were added later for Latin decoration. P in psychology, pneumonia, Greek origin, but we don't say the P anymore. L in calm, palm, talk, once used, now completely ignored. S in island. Funny fact, this was never supposed to be there. It was added by mistake thinking island came from Latin insula. It doesn't. It comes from Old English Igland. So the S is a total accident. Crazy, right? Now you might ask, why didn't we just fix the spellings? Well, that's a long story too. See, English has no official academy like French does. There's no government body saying, okay, let's remove the silent B from doubt. Instead, English just evolves on its own. And people don't like changing spellings they're used to, especially in books, signs, and school systems. Plus, believe it or not, silent letters help us sometimes. For example, they tell us about the origin of the word, Latin, Greek, Germanic. They help us differentiate words like no and no, and they keep connections between words like sign and signature. So yes, silent letters are annoying, but they're part of English's long, chaotic, and beautiful history. Let me give you a few more weird ones before we wrap up. Colonel. Why do we say colonel? Because it comes from French coronal, but English changed the spelling. Wednesday. We say Wednesday, but it's actually Woden's Day, named after a Norse god. Receipt. That P is silent now, but it was there in Latin, recepta. Heir. The H is silent, but helps us link it to inherit and heritage. So next time someone complains about English spelling, just tell them, it's not broken, it's historic. Every silent letter in English is like a fossil, a little reminder of where our words have been. From the Anglo-Saxons to the French, from Latin scholars to printing presses. English spelling is a museum, and silent letters, they're the dusty old artifacts. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel.